안녕하십니까, 이현욱입니다. 오늘은 저와 함께 공유경제, 특히 이과생들도 알아듣기 쉬운 설명을 해가지고 공유경제에 대해서 설명해 보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 목차는 다음과 같이 공유경제란 사례, 그리고 사례를 본 공유경제 이과 장단점, 그리고 TED 강연을 마무리로 보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 먼저 공유경제가 어떤 것인지에 대해서부터 설명을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 공유경제라는 용어는 1984년대 하버드대학교 마틴 와이츠먼 교수가 처음으로 공유경제의 불황을 정복하다라는 논문을 통해서 발표가 되었었는데요. 당시의 불황을 해결할 방법으로 공유경제를 제시한 것이었습니다. 당시 이 논문은 높은 호응을 얻었고 그로 인해 공유경제라는 용어가 탄생할 수 있게 되었습니다. 공유경제의 정의는 어떤 것이냐면 실물 자산을 소유하는 대신 다른 사람과 함께 사용하는 협력적 소비라고 할 수 있는데요. 이 말인즉슨 자신이 갖고 있는 것을 남들과 공유를 한다는 것이죠. 아까 보신 협력적 소비에는 세 가지 유형이 있는데요. 첫 번째가 사용한 만큼 요금을 지불하는 방식, 특정인이 소유한 물건을 타인에게 재분배하는 방식, 실물이 아닌 기술, 자격, 재능 등을 공유하는 방식, 이렇게 세 가지가 있습니다. 세 번째보다는 첫 번째, 두 번째가 주를 이루고 있습니다. 이용자는 자주 사용하지 않는 상품 및 서비스에 대한 지출을 줄일 수 있다. 이 말인즉슨 자신이 갖고 있는 잉여 자원들을 남들에게 공유함으로써 잉여 자원을 새롭게 활용하는 방법을 얻을 수 있고, 제공자는 잉여 자원을 활용해 수익 발생과 사회적 기여를 실현할 수 있다. 이렇게 되어 있습니다. 공유경제의 성장 배경에는 2000년대 미국에서 시작된 세계 경제 위기로 구매력이 저하됨에 따라 새로운 제품의 구매보다는 협력적 소비에 대한 증가. 네, 이 말이 어떤 말이냐면 2000년에 들어오면서 미국의 경제가 불황이 시작되면서 전 세계적으로 불황이 가속되었습니다. 이로 인해 사람들의 소비가 위축되는 경향을 볼 수 있었는데요. 이 위축되는 경향에 따라서 사람들의 소비를 어떤 식으로 다시 활성화할 수 있는가에 대한 방법으로 예전에 1980년도에 나왔던 공유경제가 다시 떠오르게 됩니다. 이는 인터넷과 모바일 기술 발전의 확대를 통해서 좀 더 확산이 되게 되는데요. 페이스북과 같은 SNS를 통해서 참여자의 신뢰도를 높일 수 있는 제3자의 평가를 통해 알 수 있었습니다. 네, 이걸 발전 과정을 이런 식으로 나열한 건데 넘어가도록 하겠습니다. 지금부터 사례를 알아보도록 하겠는데요. 우버 택시와 에어비앤비를 통해 사례를 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 우버 택시는 2009년대 샌프란시스코에 처음으로 설립되었고요. 스마트폰 어플리케이션을 활용한 스마트폰 어플리케이션을 이용한 최초의 방식이라고 할 수 있겠죠. 기존 서비스 운송수단이나 택시를 말하는 건데, 이거 택시보다 저렴하고 간편한 이용이 강점으로 꼽을 수 있었습니다. 하지만 이거 우버에서도 문제점이 있었는데요. 기본 택시 사업자들 간에 마찰이 있었기 때문에 국가적으로 규제를 받고 있는 나라들이 많습니다. 하지만 미국의 경영잡지 패스트 컴퍼니가 선정한 세계 5대 혁신 기업에서 6위를 차지하는 등 아직까지 가치를 인정받고 있습니다. 우버 택시의 사용되는 방법에 대해서 소개한 것인데요. 이렇게 스마트폰으로 가입하고 자신의 인적 사항을 기록합니다. 그리고 위치 기반 서비스이기 때문에 스마트폰을 통해서 자신의 위치를 알리고 가장 가까운 우버 택시를 찾아줍니다. 그리고 그 우버 택시를 이용해서 집으로 가고, 결제는 휴대폰으로 미리 결제가 되는 방식으로 진행되도록 합니다. 도착지에 도착하면은 그때 결제가 되는 방식으로 진행됩니다. 우버 택시에 이렇게 세 가지 요소가 있는데요. 우버 X, 우버 블랙, 우버 택시, 이렇게 세 가지가 있습니다. 우버 X가 사람들 사이에 논란되고 있는 내용인데요. 우버 X가 사람들의 민간 차량을 이용해가지고 이게 운영이 되는 건데, 우리나라에서는 이게 규제가 돼서 지금은 중지되었습니다. 우버 블랙 또한 중지된 내용인데요. 이렇게 고급 차량들을 위주로 정해진 택시 사업자들 외에도 할 수 있도록 따로 만든 것이었는데, 차종으로는 이렇게 BMW, 벤츠, 그랜저, K9 이런 것이 우리나라에서 운영이 되었었다고 합니다. 하지만 이것도 제도권의 문제로 현재는 진행되지 않고 있고요. 우버 택시는 아직까지 우리나라에서도 진행되고 있습니다. 이것은 현재 우리나라에서 가장 활성화된 택시 어플인 카카오 택시랑 똑같은 방식으로 진행되는데요. 사람들이 카카오 택시를 통해서 하고 실제 택시 사업자들만 활용할 수 있게 된 우버 택시라는 이름으로 되어 있습니다. 이 X에 대해서 말씀드리자면 X는 우리가 말하는 그 미지수 X랑 똑같은 X입니다. 두 번째는 에어비앤비인데요. 이것이 처음 생긴 계기는 이것도 마찬가지로 샌프란시스코에서 처음에 컨퍼런스가 열렸는데 거기에 참여한 사람들의 숙박 장소를 제공하기가 힘들었습니다. 그래가지고 그 사람들 위해서 거실을 빌려주는 방안으로 그것이 계기가 돼가지고 처음 시행이 됐었는데요. 이것도 마찬가지로 제공자는 자신의 잉여 공간을 활용할 수 있고, 이용자는 싼 가격의 숙박을 해결할 수 있다는 것이 큰 장점을 이용하여 활성화되게 되었습니다. 영상을 통해서 소개하는 내용 한번 보시도록 하겠습니다.
But I'm staying here for the weekend. It's not a hotel, and I've never met my host before yesterday. So how did I end up here? I booked it on Airbnb. Once I knew I was coming to the city, it took just a quick search on Airbnb to find what I was looking for. A clean, comfortable, affordable place to stay. There's a wide variety of listings, and searching is really easy. Just enter your dates and browse to pictures of available places. It's free to list, so people all over the world are posting their places, making the possibilities endless. Jeremy rents out his extra bedroom to help pay for rent. And taxes. Before you book anything, you can read reviews left by previous guests and hear all about their experiences. If you have any questions, you can message the host directly through Airbnb. When you're ready to book, you just put in your request. Airbnb holds on to your payment until 24 hours after you've checked in. After your stay, both guests and hosts can leave reviews for each other. It's a great way to share your experiences with the community and to help everybody find their perfect fit. You can stay a night, a week, or a month if you want, at any price point. You can stay in a private room in a place with other people, or you can stay in a home by yourself. These people are out of town for the weekend, so I have the whole place to myself. When I'm out of town, I put my place on Airbnb. It helps me pay for all my adventures and lets me treat myself to something special once in a while. And with so many unique places available all over the world, why wouldn't I? Plus, I can book from anywhere. Airbnb lets guests and hosts choose the experience they want. And on top of it all, you're saving money. And a great Airbnb experience is so effortless that the only thing left to worry about is where to go next.
네, 영상을 통해 보셨듯이 공유경제의 핵심은 이렇게 자신이 가진 잉여 자원을 당장 필요한 사람들과 공유함으로써 자원의 순환을 최대한 빠르게 돌리는 것이 핵심이라고 볼 수 있습니다. 이렇게 에어비앤비 사이트에 들어가면 이런 식으로 자신의 거실을 소개하고 가격과 함께 이렇게 이렇게 객주의 소개까지 이렇게 달려있는 모습을 볼 수 있겠습니다. 네, 공유경제의 빛과 그림자, 장단점에 대해서 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 페이스북 같은 서비스가 활성화되면서 타인과 공유하는 것에 익숙해짐으로써 공유경제에 대한 관심이 증가하고 시장의 활성화를 통해 엄청나게 큰 시장 가치를 누릴 수 있게 되었습니다. 그 다음으로 최근에 친환경적인 트렌드와 부합한다고 볼 수 있었는데요. 우버 택시 같은 경우에는 공유 자동차 한 대가 9대에서 13대의 택시를 대체한다고 합니다. 그 외에도 다양한 서비스가 쉽게 공유할 수 있기 때문에 친환경적인 트렌드에 잘 맞다고 볼 수 있겠죠. 그 다음에 문제의 점에 대해서도 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 제도권과의 마찰과 조정인데요. 우버를 예시로 보면은 우버 택시의 경우 제도권과 그러니까 현재 기존 택시 사업자들과의 갈등에서 타협점을 찾지 못하고 영업을 중단하게 되었습니다. 이런 기존 택시 사업자와의 갈등과 승계 단점 문제, 이게 우버 택시와 관련해서 우버 택시 이용자, 택시 기사가 성폭행하는 사건 이런 것들도 일어났다고 합니다. 개인정보 보호 등과 관련된 해결해야 될 문제가 아직 많이 남아있고요. 그리고 대여 상품에 대한 신뢰성을 확보해야 됩니다. 현재 SNS를 통해서 신뢰성을 많이 확보한다고 하고 있지만 아직까지 이게 제대로 이것으로서는 부족하고 제대로 된 제도적인 측면도 필요하다는 이야기가 많이 있습니다. 예시를 보면 이런 뉴스들이 많이 화제가 되었고요. 이렇게 에어비앤비라는 단어를 네이버를 통해서 검색을 하면 카페에서 바로 뜨는 걸 볼 수 있는데 이렇게 에어비앤비의 등록이, 에어비앤비 불법 숙박 신고 이런 내용이 나오는 것을 보면 아직까지 문제점이 많다고 볼 수 있습니다. 마지막으로 테드 강연을 보면서 마칠 건데요. 이렇게 방금 전에 봤듯이 공유경제에 대한 빛과 그림자에 대해서 생각하면서 비판적인 시각으로 영상을 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
I want to tell you the story about the time I almost got kidnapped in the
I want to tell you this story about the time I almost got kidnapped in the trunk of a red Mazda Miata. It's the day after graduating from design school, and I'm having a yard sale. And this guy pulls up in this red Mazda, and he starts looking through my stuff, and he buys a piece of art that I made. And it turns out he's alone in town for the night, driving cross country on a road trip before he goes into the Peace Corps. So I invite him out for a beer, and he tells me all about his passion for making a difference in the world. Now, it's starting to get late, and I'm getting pretty tired. As I motion for the tab, I make the mistake of asking him, "So where are you staying tonight?" And he makes it worse by saying, "Actually, I don't have a place." And I'm thinking, oh man, what do you do? We've all been there, right? Do I offer to host this guy? But I just met him. I mean, he says he's going into the Peace Corps, but I don't really know he's going to the Peace Corps, and I don't want to end up kidnapped in the trunk of a Miata. That's a small trunk. So then I hear myself saying, "Hey, I've got an airbed you can stay on in my living room." And the voice in my head goes, "Wait, what?" That night, I'm laying in bed, I'm staring at the ceiling, I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? There's a complete stranger sleeping in my living room. What if he's psychotic? My anxiety grows so much, I leap out of bed, I sneak on my tiptoes to the door, and I lock the bedroom door. It turns out he was not psychotic. We've kept in touch ever since, and the piece of art he bought at the yard sale is hanging in his classroom. He's a teacher now. This was my first hosting experience, and it completely changed my perspective. Maybe the people that my childhood taught me to label as strangers were actually friends waiting to be discovered. The idea of hosting people on airbeds gradually became natural to me, and when I moved to San Francisco, I brought the airbed with me. So now it's 2 years later. I'm unemployed, I'm almost broke, my roommate moves out, and then the rent goes up. And then I learned there's a design conference coming to town, and all the hotels are sold out. And I've always believed that turning fear into fun is the gift of creativity. So here's what I pitch my best friend and my new roommate, Brian Chesky. Brian thought of a way to make a few bucks, turning our place into designer's bed and breakfast, offering designers who come to town a place to crash, complete with wireless internet, a small desk space, sleeping mat, and breakfast each morning. Ha! We built a basic website, and Air Bed and Breakfast was born. 3 lucky guests got to stay on a $20 airbed on the hardwood floor, but they loved it, and so did we. I swear, the ham and Swiss cheese omelets we made tasted totally different because we made them for our guests. We took them on adventures around the city, and when we said goodbye to the last guest, the door latch clicked. Brian and I just stared at each other. Did we just discover it was possible to make friends while also making rent? The wheels had started to turn. My old roommate, Nate Bocharzik, joined as engineering co-founder. And we buckled down to see if we could turn this into a business. Here's what we pitched investors. We want to build a website where people publicly post pictures of their most intimate spaces, their bedrooms, the bathrooms, the kinds of rooms you usually keep closed when people come over. And then, over the internet, they're going to invite complete strangers to come sleep in their homes. It's going to be huge. We sat back and we waited for the rocket ship to blast off. It did not. No one in their right minds would invest in a service that allows strangers to sleep in people's homes. Why? Because we've all been taught as kids, strangers equal danger. Now, when you're faced with a problem, you fall back on what you know, and all we really knew was design. In art school, you learn that design is much more than the look and feel of something, it's the whole experience. And we learned to do that for objects, but here, we were aiming to build Olympic trust between people who had never met. Could design make that happen? Is it possible to design for trust? I want to give you a sense of the flavor of trust that we were aiming to achieve. I've got a 30-second experiment that will push you past your comfort zone. If you're up for it, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I need you to take out your phones. Now that you have your phone out, I'd like you to unlock your phone. Now hand your unlocked phone to the person on your left. That tiny sense of panic you're feeling right now is exactly how hosts feel the first time they open their home. Because the only thing more personal than your phone is your home. People don't just see your messages, they see your bedroom, your kitchen, your toilet. Now, how does it feel holding someone's unlocked phone? Most of us feel really responsible. That's how most guests feel when they stay in a home, and it's because of this that our company can even exist. By the way, who's holding Al Gore's phone? Would you tell Twitter he's running for president? Okay, you can hand your phones back now. So now that you've experienced the kind of trust challenge we were facing, I'd love to share a few discoveries we've made along the way. Now, what if we changed one small thing about the design of that experiment? What if your neighbor had introduced themselves first with their name, where they're from, the name of their kids or their dog? Imagine that they had 150 reviews of people saying they're great at holding unlocked phones. Now, how would you feel about handing your phone over? It turns out a well-designed reputation system is key for building trust. And we didn't actually get it right the first time. It's hard for people to leave bad reviews. Eventually, we learned to wait until both guest and host left the review before we reveal them. Now, here's a discovery we made just last week. We did a joint study with Stanford where we looked at people's willingness to trust someone based on how similar they are in age, location, and geography. The research showed, not surprisingly, we prefer people who are like us. The more different somebody is, the less we trust them. Now, that's a natural social bias. But what's interesting is what happens when you add reputation into the mix, in this case with reviews. Now, if you've got less than 3 reviews, nothing changes. But if you've got more than 10, everything changes. High reputation beats high similarity. The right design can actually help us overcome one of our most deeply rooted biases. Now, we also learned that building the right amount of trust takes the right amount of disclosure. This is what happens when a guest first messages a host. If you share too little, like, yo, acceptance rates go down. And if you share too much, like, I'm having issues with my mother, acceptance rates also go down. But there's a zone that's just right, like, love the artwork in your place, coming for vacation with my family. So how do we design for just the right amount of disclosure? We use the size of the box to suggest the right length, and we guide them with prompts to encourage sharing. We bet our whole company on the hope that with the right design, people would be willing to overcome the stranger danger bias. What we didn't realize is just how many people were ready and waiting to put the bias aside. This is a graph that shows our rate of adoption. There's 3 things happening here. The first, an unbelievable amount of luck. The second is the efforts of our team. And the third is the existence of a previously unsatisfied need. Now, things have been going pretty well. Obviously, there are times when things don't work out. Guests have thrown unauthorized parties and trashed homes. Hosts have left guests stranded in the rain. In the early days, I was customer service, and those calls came right to my cell phone. I was at the front lines of trust breaking. And there's nothing worse than those calls. It hurts to even think about them. And the disappointment in the sound of someone's voice was, and I would say still is, our single greatest motivator to keep improving. Thankfully, out of the 123 million nights we've ever hosted, less than a fraction of a percent have been problematic. Turns out people are justified in their trust. And when trust works out right, it can be absolutely magical. We had a guest stay with a host in Uruguay, and he suffered a heart attack. The host rushed him to the hospital. They donated their own blood for his operation. Let me read you his review. Excellent house for sedentary travelers prone to myocardial infarctions. The area is beautiful and has direct access to the best hospitals. Javier and Alejandra instantly become guardian angels who will save your life without even knowing you. They will rush you to the hospital in their own car while you're dying and stay in the waiting room while the doctors give you a bypass. They don't let you feel lonely. They bring you books to read, and they let you stay at their house extra nights without charging you. Highly recommended. Of course, not every stay is like that. But this connection beyond the transaction is exactly what the sharing economy is aiming for. Now, when I heard that term, I have to admit, it tripped me up. How do sharing and transactions go together? So let's be clear. It is about commerce. But if you just called it the rental economy, it would be incomplete. The sharing economy is commerce with the promise of human connection. People share a part of themselves, and that changes everything. You know how most travel today is I think of it like fast food, right? It's efficient and consistent, right? At the cost of local and authentic. What if travel were like a magnificent buffet of local experiences? What if anywhere you visited, there was a central marketplace of locals offering to get you thoroughly drunk on a pub crawl in neighborhoods you didn't even know existed, or learning to cook from a chef of a 5-star restaurant? Today, homes are designed around the idea of privacy and separation. What if homes were designed to be shared from the ground up? What would that look like? What if cities embraced a culture of sharing? I see a future of shared cities that bring us community and connection instead of isolation and separation. In South Korea, the city of Seoul, they've actually even started this. They've repurposed hundreds of government parking spots to be shared by residents. They're connecting students who need a place to live with empty nesters who have extra rooms. And they've started an incubator to help fund the next generation of sharing economy startups. Tonight, just on our service, 785,000 people in 191 countries will either stay in a stranger's home or welcome one into theirs. Clearly, it's not as crazy as we were taught. We didn't invent anything new. Hospitality has been around forever. There's been many other websites like ours, so why did ours eventually take off? Luck and timing aside, I've learned that you can take the components of trust and you can design for that. Design can overcome our most deeply rooted stranger danger bias, and that's amazing to me. It blows my mind. I think about this every time I see a red Miata go by. Now, we know design won't solve all the world's problems, but if it can help out with this one, if it can make a dent in this, it makes me wonder, what else can we design for next? Thank you.